And that's not a joke. But look, I'm not going to waste all the time I'm in. I'm going to talk about his running mate. His running mate, Elon Musk. Seriously. Where is Senator Vance after he got asked the simplest question in the world at the debate? Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election? And after 2 weeks, he finally said, no, he didn't. That's where he's been spending his time. But that's it. So, look, Elon's on that stage, jumping around, skipping like a dipshit on these things. You know it. Think about it. Think about that. That guy is literally the richest man in the world, spending millions of dollars to help Donald Trump buy an election. Now look, they're saying the quiet parts out loud now because Donald Trump has already promised that he would put Elon in charge of government regulations that oversee the businesses that Elon runs. That's a hell of a buy. He could spend billions to make more than 10 billion on the back end. So in other words, Donald Trump, in front of the eyes of the American public, is promising corruption. That's what he's promising you. And you know what? I don't believe he keeps many promises, but he'll keep that one. I'll guarantee you he'll keep that one.
That was Tim Walz putting Trump's actual running mate, Elon Musk, on blast for this moment that is so cringe. I'm embarrassed for Elon.
His rocket company is the only reason we can now send America astronauts into space. Take over, Elon.
And look, his weird jumping aside, of course Trump is attracted to Elon. He is a billionaire serving other billionaires. Guys, this is why Trump is in the race. It is not to help you, it is to help himself and people like him. Don't forget that while Donald Trump presented himself as some populist in 2016, that once he actually got into office, he did nothing for the same people that he pandered to for months. No jobs boom, no manufacturing renaissance, no healthcare plan that was cheaper and more affordable, no infrastructure upgrade. You know what Donald Trump used all of his political capital on? A tax cut for millionaires and billionaires. Do not listen to what they say, watch what they do. And Elon? Well, this guy's entire identity is predicated on hoarding as much wealth as humanly possible. His Twitter account is littered with him playing victim that he pays the most taxes in this country, apparently unaware that he is also the richest person in America, and that one goes hand in hand with the other. But because he knows that Donald Trump will extend his 2017 tax cut and help people like Elon, now Elon is doing everything he can to ensure that that comes to pass. That is why he's pulling stunts like giving voters $1 million per day. It's not because he's generous, it's because spending a few million bucks now means he will keep billions if Donald Trump gets into office. This is what you get with Republican leadership, the wealthy helping the wealthy. And this whole phenomenon isn't new. Going back to Reagan in the 1980s, the GOP force-fed the American people this insane notion that if you heap wealth onto the ultra-rich, that it'll trickle down to the poor. Well, guess what? Republicans have tried this for 60 years, and this is what income inequality looks like in this country today. Starting in, surprise, surprise, 1980 with Ronald Reagan, and it's gotten worse and worse every single year, despite insistences that all you need to do is let rich people hoard all their money and it'll apparently help everybody else. So how much worse does income inequality need to get in this country before Republicans will finally concede defeat? How many more people need to live in abject poverty in this country before billionaires finally concede that maybe, just maybe, they have enough money? When will the Trumps and the Elons of the world finally admit that perhaps other people should be allowed to live with some dignity? And that's the key to all of this. While Republicans pit their base against immigrants and LGBT people and the Democrats and the poor as the cause for all of their problems, none of those people are responsible for the economic situation in this country. Let me be clear, the reason that you are hurting financially is not because poor people are getting food stamps. The reason that you're hurting financially is because rich people like Trump get into power with the help of people like Elon, and then Trump will pass laws benefiting Elon's wallet as repayment. I don't mean to be cynical here, but they don't care about you. A billionaire is not seeking power to help the working class or the poor. A billionaire didn't become a billionaire by helping the working class or the poor. Donald Trump didn't help the working class when he had the chance the first go around, and he certainly won't as a lame duck president who never again has to face the voters. And I know the pushback here is going to be, yeah, but the economy was great for everyone, including the working class, when Trump was president. I'd listen to what Obama had to say about that.
I've talked to some folks, and they'll say, yeah, but I do remember the economy was pretty good when Trump first came in office. And I said, yeah, because it was my economy. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans left me. I had spent 8 years getting the auto industry back on track, reopening factories. So when I handed over 75 straight months of job growth to Donald Trump, all he did was give a tax cut to people who didn't need it, drove up the deficits in the process. So don't have nostalgia for what his economy was, because that was mine. And now he wants to do it again.
In fact, it's not just Trump taking credit for Obama's economy. I know that you've heard me say this before, but in my entire lifetime, there has never been a Republican administration that's added more jobs than a Democratic administration. There has never been a Republican administration that's had a lower unemployment rate than a Democratic administration. There has never been a Republican administration that's had a stronger economy than a Democratic administration. Republicans coast by on their strong economic branding, but it's just that. It is branding. It is PR. There are zero metrics by which Republicans can claim that they are more responsible stewards of the economy than the Democrats. And that's a point, by the way, that I made on air while debating Donald Trump's economic advisor, Stephen Moore.
But Brian, the simple politics of it is, am I better off than I was 4 years ago?
Exactly.
Do you lose on that basis?
Right now, if you want to know whether, not only whether families are better, but the entire United States is better, Donald Trump left office with net loss of 3 million jobs, with a 6.3% unemployment rate, with an economic contraction of 3.4%. Right now, we have 16 million jobs added. We have the strongest economy in the world, and we have the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. So this idea that we're somehow not better off under Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, is a complete denial of reality. In fact, there hasn't even been a single Republican administration in my entire lifetime that's had a stronger economy than a Democratic administration. There hasn't been a single Republican administration in my lifetime that's had more jobs added than a Democratic administration. There hasn't been a single Republican administration in my lifetime that's had a lower unemployment rate than a Democratic administration.
All right.
So I don't know what Republicans are pushing here that is going to actually reflect well on them, but in over 30 years, Republicans have never proved themselves better stewards of the economy than Democrats. So when it comes to these billionaires promising you the sun and the moon, just know that they will say whatever they have to say to get themselves into power. They have had decades to show you that they care and are willing to help, and yet what's happened every single year? Income inequality has continued to surge. That means the poor are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer. That is not an accident, it is a policy choice, and it's perpetuated by billionaires. Electing another one in Trump, backed by one in Elon, is not going to fix the problem, it is only going to make it worse. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.